Hey, we're back. I'm Andrew.
I'm Ted.
And this week, wow, we've got a good one, I think. World's Greatest Beer Run, starring Zac Efron.
It was good.
I enjoyed it. I tell you what, I didn't see Zac's last two movies because they just, weren't that appealing. But I'm going back, and the last two is Gold and Evil Wicked or something. Let me see.
The Ted Bundy thing?
Yeah.
He was good in that.
Was he?
I think the problem was that it made Ted Bundy not look like the terrible person he is. Like Zac Efron's super charming, and it was like, oh, okay.
Well, I'm going back, and I'm going to watch them because up until this movie, and I don't know what really, well, it's new. It's out. It's new. It's on Apple TV. And and Apple doesn't release a lot, so I guess it was just really kind of the only choice I have when it came to Apple viewing. But I mean, the title, "The World's Greatest Beer Run." I mean, come on, you got to jump on that.
I mean, that it had strange cameos in it too. It had like Bill Murray for 2 scenes,
But excellent performance.
I
mean, Dirty Grandpa. No, it didn't.
Did you see Baywatch?
I did, and had nothing for me.
I thought he was funny in Baywatch.
Nothing. But I thought Zac reached a level of maturity in this. I mean, he was an actor. I mean, he really was. I mean, it was like he evolved. So that's the reason I want to go back and watch Gold and Evil Within or whatever, Evil something, the Ted Bundy story, because I want to see his acting now. I mean, because if that's the progression and he got to the world's greatest beer run, giving that performance that he gave, wow. I want to see that evolution.
Well, there's a lot of ease in him now. I the biggest thing for me as an actor, like watching other actors, if I can tell you're working, it makes me not enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
He, like you're saying, I think in the last 5 years or so, he has had more ease. It just seems like he's comfortable all the time.
You think that's what it is? You just don't think it's a natural progression of maturity as an actor?
Well, he's 34 years old. I hope he's matured since he was in High School Musical.
Sometimes, look at Bill Murray, who's also in this movie. I thought it took Bill Murray a long time to mature as an actor. I mean, until St. Vincent came along, I just, it was Bill Murray.
Groundhog Day? You didn't like Groundhog Day?
I love Groundhog, but it was Bill Murray.
Well, see, now there's an interesting talk we can get into because there's sometimes when people say, oh, that's just Vince Vaughn being Vince Vaughn or Bill Murray being Bill Murray. Yeah. Like, it is so much easier as an actor to put on an accent and do all this weird stuff. And it's easier. Let me tell you something. It's hard to sound like you and not be exactly you. Be another person, but everybody's like, that's you.
I get it, yeah. But, I think, anyway, Zac in this movie, I could see that he really had evolved into acting. So if you say it's the fact that he's ease, I'll take it for that. But I don't know. I watched his. He had a documentary where he traveled around to different locations and experienced the culture, and that was about 3 or 4 years ago. And I didn't like him in that.
Really,
I didn't. I was just like, oh my God, we watched through because we watched it for where they were going. Okay, because my wife and I, we just love absorbing other cultures. If you've been abroad, which I have, you understand it. You get it. I mean, and so now I'm just so enthralled with learning other cultures and seeing, okay, where's my passport going next? But no, I thought he ruined the show. I really did. I'm sorry. It's
a reality show.
I know. It was bad. That's why I was just like, okay, but
you sound like I sound about Dax Shepard. Anytime anybody says anything about Dax Shepard, I'm like, I'm sure I've met him. He was nice. I hate your performance in everything you're in. And it's not founded in anything. I just don't like it.
Because I think that's probably Dax just being Dax. I mean,
sure.
I don't see a lot of stretch with him. But I thought in this one, Zach, wow, he was an actual actor.
We're not going to ruin the movie for you people that want to watch this movie, but I'll tell you what, his final scene in this movie was pretty exceptional.
Oh, yeah.
When he, not to ruin anything, he brings something back to his neighbor. And when he knocked on that door and he fully realized everything that... For people that don't know what this movie is about. This movie is about... These guys in New York City, I think Brooklyn or Queens.
Brooklyn, 1967.
Yeah, and it's like the Vietnam War, and all these kids from the neighborhood have gone over there. All these Irish Catholic kids and Italian kids have gone over to Vietnam. And one of them, Chicky, who this is Zac Efron, is a... what was he? What were they called?
Well, he was in the service.
He was in Navy, but what is it called?
He was in Massachusetts. That's where he was stationed.
Yeah, but he was in the... What do they call it when you're a merchant marine?
Yeah,
That's it.
Oh, yeah. Currently, he was a merchant marine.
So he decides that he's going to take all the fellas over in Vietnam, beers from home, to let them know that they support him and that they're thinking about him.
But let's be clear, because there is a maturity growth in the character of Chicky from get-go. I found the irony. There's one of their buddies there. Who was just wishy-washy. I mean, one person would say, "Oh, I like this," and he'd say, "Yeah, I like that too." And then another buddy would follow up, and go, "Yeah, no, that stuff's horrible." And then that guy would say, "No, it's horrible. It's not that good." It was, so he was just an appeaser. And Chicky was always kind of calling him out for that, whenever he would slosh, and but I thought the funny part about it was that Chicky, while you assume he's the leader of this group, he's got a great influence on them because, right from the get-go, they're the ones buying the beers. Chicky's not buying the beers. Chicky's the cool guy. Everybody's hanging out with Chicky. And but Chicky's manipulated because it was the Colonel, Bill Murray, who runs the bar in their neighborhood. It was his idea to fill that duffel bag up with beers and take it to him. If he could, he would do that.
Yeah.
And so Chicky was like, "Oh well, that'll make me even a bigger hero. I'm just playing off what I gathered," and he did that. He loaded up that duffel bag and headed off to Vietnam.
It is so kind of moronic that it's so... The funny part of the movie is him showing up at all these different places in Vietnam under fire and under everything, and he's like, I'm gonna hide over here and jump out and scare him. And It's like, what are you talking about? They're being shot at and killed, and it was...
Yeah, there's one point in the movie, and again, no spoilers here, but there is that one point in the movie where I think Chicky came face to face with reality, and that's when he went up on the hill there at the
and he stayed overnight with all those guys.
Yeah, in the foxhole. Yeah, that's when he kind of realized, okay, this is real, and it just really, his eyes were open from that moment on, because just like the sergeant said to Chicky's buddy there, I forget his name, he goes, he's too dumb to get killed. And at that moment he got smart. But anyway, I enjoyed Zach's performance. I'm going to start with that and the fact that I love the story. It's a real story, by the way. It's based on a real story. So... which at the end of the movie, I had to think to myself, oh my gosh, the real Chicky. Is he really going through life that stupid?
I don't think so. Because he went to Harvard.
Well, okay, there you go.
I looked him up.
You did. I did.
Yeah, he went to Harvard Business School.
Oh, that's right. He did. It's at the end. Yes,
yeah,
the credit. Yes.
Yeah, so he's not that dumb.
Okay. Well, he didn't have a lot of common sense. Let's put it that.
Yeah.
I mean, because nobody in their right mind, 1967, horror stories coming out of Vietnam. I mean, Chicky's hearing from his little sister that 8 people from the neighborhood have already died. Okay? And Chicky has this, well, he doesn't have the idea. It's the Colonel's idea of taking everybody a beer.
Yeah.
And he does it. I mean, and that's just... he flies into the hot zone there, and all he can think about was giving his buddy
A beer.
a beer.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun concept, but it's also like I would say this movie balances the drama and the comedy very well.
Oh, it does. Well, it's what Peter Farley.
Yeah,
Yeah, co-wrote it, and directed
yeah.
it. So
I mean, but it has some real weighted moments to it.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it was it gets real about halfway through it. I
Yeah.
guess you can say but
Also, Russell Crowe's great.
phenomenal. No, it was
I love old man chubby Russell Crowe.
and
I do. I love him. He's great. I just saw him in the new Thor movie, which was not a great movie, but he was
Right.
Zeus.
No,
he was good.
I agree. Did not like the new Thor movie.
Too jokey.
Love and Thunder. Yeah,
Yeah.
Love
I
and
mean,
Thunder.
yeah. But it's okay. He was funny as Zeus.
Yeah, I like Russell Crowe. Gladiator is probably going to be one of my top 10 movies from here to the end. And Russell Crowe made it. He was great. And I think the next time Beautiful Mind, loved him in that.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a break there, a lull, I guess, in Russell's work. Because you just didn't see him in a lot.
Well, I think we're we're coming out of the lull of he's 58 or 60 years old, and it's like you're not playing the leading guy anymore.
Well, yeah, I can see that, but he co-starred with Ryan Gosling in The Nice Guys. Have you seen that one?
I love that.
Oh my God, that is absolutely hysterical. But hey, we're getting off. Russell Crowe was excellent in this movie. It was quintessential Russell Crowe, and it was I liked the movie.
I like the movie.
I really enjoyed it. I've watched it twice. I watched it the first time because at the end I was just basically shocked and awe that Zac Efron could act. I mean, I knew he could read lines and show up.
You know, you could have emotional scenes and be funny and be.
I didn't.
That's fair.
I didn't. I really, after The Neighbors, is that the one, the college?
Yeah.
The Neighbors.
I enjoy that movie.
The
first one is funny.
1 and 2. First one was okay. Second one was horrible.
When he starts
I watched
flexing,
it for all the wrong reasons. Yeah.
he's so jacked. It's like, oh my God.
So, I did. I watched it the first time because it was just, the whole movie left me like, okay, I missed stuff. Because it was like I turned around and it was like, okay, I'm conscious again. I'm watching this because I was just in awe of the performance that I just watched, the scenic on it. I mean, when he first gets to Vietnam, he's in Saigon at the docks there. That art direction was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 1967 Vietnam. As far as I know, I wasn't around to say it, but I bought it. I bought the whole thing. It was just so. Kudos to the art direction in that motion picture as well. But I watched it a second time, and I really got to enjoy it then. I mean, because there was more moments to pick up, subtleties, the emotional pick up, and watching Chicky's character transform. Mm-hmm. So I picked up a little more moments after at the second time watching that, but I enjoyed that movie. I enjoyed every aspect of it. Let's see what do we got here. Just looking at some notes. The cast was awesome. All of them, all the supporting cast. Matt Cook, who plays one of the lieutenants at the air base there. Oh my God, he was hysterical.
The one that wanted to be in the CIA?
Yeah,
he was great.
Yeah.
There was only one person that bothered me.
Who was that?
So
the little girl that cried when she dropped her ball.
No, the first one that he goes. Okay, so when he goes up to we goes in the hot zone and the guy has to run over.
Mm-hmm. His body.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
He's really acting. I mean, he was acting.
You thought so?
Yeah. I've seen him in a few things. I think that's just him. Him as an actor, I think he just, sometimes you can see people chewing the words and getting dramatic, and I just can see him. I've seen him in Top Gun. He's fine. He was the only thing. When I see him, I'm very aware that he's acting.
Yeah, well, you've got to, I thought he pulled it off.
Yeah, everybody else I thought was great, and he was fine. I just thought he seemed. It's just a thing. Like, I can tell he's performing.
Okay. Well, you're a professional. I'm not. So,
but that's sometimes I like it. I mean, we all like Daniel Day-Lewis, and you can't not watch him and be like, "Well, you're performing." I get it.
Yeah. Well,
you're doing a thing, and it's impressive.
He's gone into that transformative method acting thing that he does. So he has encapsulated that particular character. But yeah, I didn't. There was no downside or down point in that movie for me at any time. I mean, you watch a movie and you get into a lull somewhere, but it from start to finish, to me, was just complete. It slowed down at times, and except for when he got to Vietnam. When he gets over there,
it's cooking.
It just clicked right across the board, and
that's the thing. I'm being picky when I say that guy's performance, but it's like, we got to have something to talk about, because overall, generally, I like the movie.
Yeah.
I don't have any real things
If that's your only problem, then
there's not a problem. Okay. I mean, you guys should watch this movie. Apple TV costs $6 a month.
Yeah, but you can get it for a free trial for $7 if you just want to spend a weekend binging.
But the truth is, they really only do like a movie a month. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. We're just now getting charged for Apple TV because we keep buying phones, and so you get Apple TV for free for 3 months or whatever it is. And besides Ted Lasso, love Ted Lasso.
Only one more season.
And it's been delayed.
So they do that,
it's just like it's milking my. I was actually thinking about that the other day because I got a notice from Apple that they're going to be raising their rates from $4.99 to $6.99, and I'm going, oh, well, I guess Apple lost the argument with Warner Brothers, who's picking up the overages on Ted Lasso. Yeah. It's Andrew.
It's
and the rest of the subscribers at $2 a pop.
It's just they put out like a Tom Hanks movie about him and a dog and a robot that he built, like at the beginning of the pandemic.
Right.
And I was like, oh, cool, they'll have another show. And it was like a month later, I was like, this is it. This is Ted Lasso.
That's it, Ted Lasso. Well, the morning show.
Oh, yeah.
We enjoyed it. My wife really enjoyed that show. I'm not a big Aniston fan, but Reese Witherspoon I do enjoy. And Billy Crump, who plays Crump, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought his performance in that was just phenomenal. So that's the reason I watched the morning show. But my wife, we watched every episode and every season because that was her thing. But now that it's not coming back, but I can tell you, as soon as Ted Lasso is over, I'm going to seriously think about
because Apple the thing is, most of these movies you can still get on Amazon Prime.
Well, here's what's going to happen. They're going to put out once a month to keep me hooked a movie like The World's Greatest Beer Run. They are. Matter of fact, I just saw an advertisement for something that's about to drop on Apple. I was like, oh, that looks interesting. Anyway, all right. Well, this week's movie was The World's Greatest Beer Run, starring Zac Efron. Cameo in there, a strong cameo.
Bill Murray.
By Billy Murray. I'm so...
And Russell Crowe. Both of them, I mean, essentially Russell Crowe's only in 3 scenes. Think about it. 2 scenes in the bar, which he had a line he delivered that I'm sorry that I'm talking acting wise, but that's what I do.
Here.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
He had a line delivery that I was like, that's why you have 2 Oscars. And it was such a simple thing, but it was when he asked him why he was over there, and he goes, oh, I want to buy him a drink. And it was just a throwaway line, but it was so easy and like, I'm just.
No, I think Russell Crowe. I love Gladiator, Beautiful Mind, and Nice Guys. I mean, which that might be we'll do a rewind episode one day. We'll talk.
We
about
can chop it up on that one. I love that movie.
Oh, I can watch Nice
because that's Shane Black wrote and directed that, and he wrote and directed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, also a great movie, that almost the same movie, and he also wrote Predator and The Last Boy Scout, which is my favorite 90s action movie.
Right. Yeah.
They're all the same movie. They're all these really funny, hardcore action movies with a pair that shouldn't be together.
Yes, Predator was a funny, hardcore...
Well, not Predator. The other three. Predator's a buddy movie.
Yes. But anyway, Russell Crowe, at the end of the movie, though, I mean, the last 20 minutes of that movie, Russell's a strong character in it. I mean,
I guess that's true. I guess he does kind of go on a journey with him.
I'm putting him in there as not supporting. He's a supporting actor in that movie for sure.
I mean, there's only one. I mean, you're only with Efron the whole time. He's the only one. I mean, he's in every single scene.
Yeah,
like heavy.
And he's acting,
heavy lifting.
He's selling me as a grown up. Oh my gosh, it was. I can't get over it. Again, I was just very shocked watching this and to see him, as I'm going with, mature into this actor. I mean, he sold me on Chicky, and which was my first exposure to a real acting Zac Efron. Because I think he was just being Zac Efron before.
Well, I started watching it, and I'll be honest with you, the first few minutes when I saw him, I was like, oh, we're going to put a mustache on Captain Handsome.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to get into it. But
right.
Then he is so good in it that by the end of the second scene, when he had dinner with his dad after he went out and got wasted, or breakfast with his dad, and his dad was talking to him, about 3/4 through that scene, I was like, oh, I'm into this. Yep, I buy it. I believe it.
Yeah. No, and and to me, that's just that was, I agree. I started out with, it's Zac Efron. This just no expectations, and I could tell that there was going to be something special in the opening when he and his buddies are at the bar, and I don't know if that might have been because he turns to Colonel, another round, and it was Bill Murray. Yeah. And you're going, oh, okay, now wait a minute. But you're absolutely right. But he did. But like I said, I've got to go back now. And while they're not my taste in movies, I'm going to go back and watch Gold and Extremely Wicked.
What is Gold?
Okay, Gold was made during the height of the pandemic, apparently. But I understand it as being a soul-searching kind of movie where Zach is just basically the only character in the movie, and he's in the desert in Australia.
I know what you're talking about now. Okay, I need to see it.
Yeah, so I have to go back and see how he did in that. Maybe it's one of those movies, maybe the last two movies, were what he needed to get out of that.
I mean, I hope he still goes back to playing Zac Efron sometimes. I enjoy... Okay. Why you don't enjoy Dirty Grandpa or whatever that one was. Bad Grandpa?
Dirty Grandpa.
Whatever the one with De Niro.
Right. Which, that's a shocker.
I enjoyed that movie. It was funny. I mean, yeah, but I agree that this is his Hamlet. He went for it so far in his career. This is his Hamlet.
Which, by the way, in Dirty Grandpa, Zach plays the straight guy, the mature one.
Yeah.
Which he really didn't pull off that well. He just didn't sell it. But anyway. All right. Well, I'm going to say watch this show on Apple TV. If you don't, I would say it's worth a 1 month subscription because it's just $6.99, you know, and you get 4 people in a room to watch it. That's less than going to the theater, and you can't see it at the theater. So for $7, 4 people, you got a good night.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the best way to watch this movie is, it's about to get cold. Cook some chili, order some pizzas, get some beer, feel like you are in this bar in Brooklyn, and then let yourself just go with the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
No.
really enjoyable movie. Honestly, it's an easy watch.
It is. It is. And you're absolutely right. This is the best time to start binging stuff. Winter's coming. It's getting cold. But yeah, I agree. Chili, pizza, something. It's a good Sunday night. Well,
PBR.
Friday night.
PBRs. It's not a good Sunday fun day because you got to get up Monday. And they are drinking PBRs in this movie, so
yes,
you
they
should get some
are.
PBR.
That's this. And I want to know, where in the world did they get those old cans?
Oh, I bet. I mean,
there
they
was
made them.
there was that was and this is the only thing about that movie right here was the fact that his bag was like Felix the Cat's magic bag.
Beers just kept coming.
They kept coming out. I mean, that first scene where he's with his first buddy from the neighborhood, who's an MP stationed in Saigon, and they're down in the barrack hole, and there have got to be 20 beer cans sitting out there that the squad's trying to go. And this trip's just started. Where are these other beers coming from?
He did go through upwards of 400 beers.
That was in a bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. And he had clothes in that bag too.
Not a lot. I also couldn't get a grasp on his timeline. He was there 2 weeks, basically, is what I figured out. Is that about right?
Well, I didn't go that far in trying to break it down. He said 72 hours. So
I mean, but he was there longer than that. I mean, he had to be. I guess in theory, it's 72 hours, but I felt
that's
like
3
it was,
days.
I felt like it seemed longer.
I can see that. Yeah,
He went to the
yeah.
hotel 3 times, and that means he left to go to different places 3 times.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't look at it from that angle. So now that you're saying it, yeah, you're right.
It's just interesting. It doesn't make me dislike it at all. I mean, it's just
No.
interesting.
No. No, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Great. Ted just ruined the movie.
Sorry,
for me
but
because
everybody watch it.
Yeah. But pay no attention to the timeline. Okay? It's arbitrary. It's movie time. So just get over it because that's a good movie. And so, yeah. All right. Well, World's Greatest Beer Run starring Zac Efron. Cameo by Mr. Bill Murray. I'm going to go with a co-star, supporting actor, Mr. Russell Crowe. All of them did great. And Matt Cook, who plays the lieutenant in there, I thought he was absolutely hysterical when he was on. And so anyway, all right, everybody. I'm Andrew.
I'm Ted.
Tune in next week for another episode of Streaming Without a Paddle.